right, guys. Can you see with that, Lincoln? Can. All right, so we are going to go on in section 6.4, and I did, because of me being gone yesterday, I decided not to go into the next section until after Christmas break. So you'll notice here that we're gonna actually do our practice quiz Wednesday, quiz on Thursday, and on Friday, when I don't know that many will have to finish the quiz, but I think what we'll do is finish the Cars movie that you started. We'll do that on Friday, okay? Unless you want to do a appropriate Christmas movie, that would be okay too. All right, so let's go ahead. I just want to remind you of a couple of things about a rectangle. A rectangle, of course, has the 4 right angles, and it has all of the properties that we've learned about a parallelogram. So opposite sides congruent, opposite angles congruent, consecutive angles supplementary, diagonals bisect each other. All of those that we've learned are true of a rectangle. And then we talked about how the entire diagonals of a rectangle are equal. And we talked about how these 4 pieces of a rectangle are congruent, okay? So not only is the whole diagonals congruent, but those 4 pieces are. And then for those of you that were gone on Friday, this we copied onto our cheat sheets. So if you look for the rectangle on your cheat sheet, we copied this onto it. Okay, so if you were gone on Friday, we drew diagonals, and then we marked that these 4 pieces are equal, because that's a big thing with rectangles. And then we marked that these 4 angles are equal. Okay. And then lastly, we marked that these 4 angles were equal. So some of the questions, if you were gone on Friday, I would watch the video, but those are things that you're gonna use when you do the assignment from Friday, as well as when you take your test or quiz and practice quiz tomorrow and Thursday. Yeah, and then we also wrote off to the side, we said the whole diagonals are congruent. We did that too. So those are the big things we need to know, okay, about a rectangle. Now, am I correct that we should be on this page right here? Does this look right? So we only have 2 pages left to do today, and today's the last day that you have to learn something new, because you have practice quiz Wednesday, quiz Thursday, and then Friday will be more of a chill day, okay? So we have a rectangle. It says that measure angle RTU, which is this angle right here, is 8x plus 4. Okay? Then it says the measure of angle SUR, which is this angle, is 3x minus 2. Now, when you first look at that, you might think, well, there's not really a connection there. But could I move one of those to a different spot that would then give me a connection? You guys see what I could do? Which one would you guys move? you'd move this one, and where would you move it to? Up here? Okay, so one of the things we just talked about is that these 4 angles are equal, okay, as well as the 4 over here are equal, okay? These 4 are equal, okay? You could have either moved the 8x plus 4 down here because those 2 are equal, or you could take the 3x minus 2, and because these 2 are equal, you can put it up here. So when you have these 4 equal, if they're giving you one of them, all 4 of these are 3x minus 2, and you can move it, okay? Now what we're going to do is look at what relationship do we have here if it's a rectangle. If it's a rectangle, what do we know? They're complementary, they add up to 90, it's a right angle, correct? In a rectangle, that's a right angle. So what we're gonna do is go 3x minus 2 plus 8x plus 4 equals 90. Now 3x plus 8x is 11x. Negative 2 plus 4 is 2, and that equals 90. Okay. Then we're going to subtract 2, and we get 11x equals 88. Divide by 11, and x is 8. Okay. Then what we're going to do, in this one, they just asked us to find x, so actually we don't have to substitute that back in. That is our answer. Okay. Now if we go down to this problem, they say that the measure of angle DAE. DAE is this angle right here, and it's 70, okay? Find each measure, and the first one they ask us for is CEB, which is right here. Okay, anyone see what we could do there? Yeah, so this is x, because they're vertical. And then I think what Chloe is saying is these 2 are going to be equal, right? So then this is 70 also. And that's just the rule with rectangles, is that these 4 are equal, okay? And then what she's saying is you could add 70 plus 70 and subtract it from 180 to get x. So you could go 70 plus 70, which is 140, and then go 180 minus 140, which is 40. So that would be your answer. And if you would rather do a math problem for that, like an algebra problem, you could have gone x plus 70 equals what? 180, yes. And you would get the same answer here. If you add 70 plus 70, that's 140. Then we're going to subtract 140. And we get that x is 40. Okay. Now they're asking us for angle EDC. So EDC is this angle right here. Do we know what that would be? Yes, because this is a right angle, and if that much is 70, the y is going to be 90 minus 70, which is 20. Very good. Okay, then that's it on that one. Okay, so now let's go down to this one. It says that we have a rectangle, and that angle ZXW. ZXW right here is x minus 11, and WZX right here is x minus 9. And we want to find angle ZXY over here eventually, okay? So, does anyone want to say one thing we could do? We eventually want to find ZXY right here. Do we know something about that one? It's x minus 9, because this angle, this angle, this angle, and that angle are all equal. So that would mean this is x minus 9. And what do we know about those two? If it's a rectangle, add up to 90. So I can say x minus 9 plus x minus 11 equals 180. X plus x is 2x. Negative 9 minus 11 is minus 20, and that equals 180. Then I'm going to add 20, and 2x is 200. Divide by 2, and x is 100. So that's my x. But if you notice what they're asking for, they want us to find the measure of angle ZXY. Oh, yes. Sorry. Yes, this would be 90. Sorry about that. Okay, so yes, those two should actually add up to 90. So this is 90, this is 90. And then I have to add 20 to 90, which is 110. Divide 110 by 2, which is 55. Okay, then what I'm going to do is go over here, and they want angle ZXY, which is this angle right here. So the measure of angle ZXY is x minus 9. So I'm going to take that 55 and put it in here. Which would be 46. Is that what you guys got too? All right, so now if we go to our last page, I believe early on in this class we talked about Pythagorean theorem, and we're going to talk about it again today. And then like my advanced high school class, they're doing a whole section on Pythagorean theorem today in chapter 8. So you'll do it throughout the class, kind of. Okay, perfect. All right, thank you. Yep, bye. Ruby, when I get done teaching, you have to go on to the office. To Caitlin, I think. Okay. All right. So, what's going to happen today is we're going to use Pythagorean theorem. And with Pythagorean theorem, you always have a right triangle, okay? And in that right triangle, the side across from the right angle is called our hypotenuse. The other two sides are called the legs, okay? And then what we have to do is put in the A, B, C. So what we would do then is, for this, across from the right angle would be our C. So the hypotenuse is always our C. A and B don't matter. So you're gonna call one of the legs A and one of the legs B. And then what the Pythagorean theorem is you're gonna say A squared plus B squared equals C squared, and you're gonna use that to find one of the missing sides of that right triangle, okay? So we're gonna use that to solve these questions. So it says we have a rectangle. It tells us that XW right here is 6. It says that WZ right here is 8. And XZ, which is right here, is B, okay? And then they ask us to find YW in the end, okay? So we have our right triangle here. We know that this is our right angle. So when we go to decide, you want to try to just ignore the other one, or you could rewrite it down below, okay? And I have 6, 8, B. And then I have to label, what is my A, what is my B, what is my C? This is kind of confusing because they have a B here, but actually the side across from your right angle is what? Your hypotenuse, and it's actually C, okay? So if you wanted to, this wouldn't matter. You could just take this B out and change it to C, okay? And solve for that. Now, A and B don't matter. So I'm gonna actually leave that B, but you could call this A and you could call this B, and our C is what we're looking for here, okay? So now what I want to do is write down A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A is 6 and B is 8. So I have 6 squared plus 8 squared equals, and my C is what I'm looking for. All right. Now what you're going to punch in, do you guys all have calculators? If you want to take your calculator out, you're going to go 6 squared plus 8 squared on your calculator. 6 squared plus 8 squared on your calculator. Okay, when you type in 6 squared plus 8 squared on your calculator, what did you guys get? 100? Yeah. Okay, so this should be 100 equals C squared. And then do you guys remember what to do when you have a squared in math? What should you do? Square root. So now you're going to take the square root of this, and here you just get C. And then on your calculator, does everyone know how to do the square root? I can't get this up right now. Yeah, you're going to hit your second key and then x squared, and that'll give you the square root. So second x squared 100, and did you guys all get 10? Okay. Sorry that my calculator is not working right now. Then what happens is that tells us that B is 10. What they want is they want to know, what is YW? What do we know about the two diagonals of a rectangle? They're congruent. So if the yellow one is 10, the purple one is also 10. So YW is 10 because the diagonals are congruent. Okay. Now let's look at this one. So in this one, they're telling me that XZ, which is this right here, is 3C. Then they're telling us that ZY over here is 9. And then they're telling us that from X to Y is 12. And that is a rectangle, so we know that there's a right angle right there. Okay, so now we can go ahead and label what is our A, what is our B, what is our C. So when I go to do that, okay, isn't across from the right angle your C? And then the other, boys, when I'm up here teaching, you're not talking and laughing, okay? So this is our C. The other two sides are A and B, okay? So across from the right angle is your C. A and B don't matter. So now I'm going to write down A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And then I'm going to put in what I have labeled here. This is 12 squared, B is 9 squared, and C is 3C squared. And I put it in parentheses and squared it because I have to square both of those numbers in those parentheses. Now, 12 squared is 144, 9 squared is 81, and here's what I meant by that. You have to square the 3, and 3 squared is 9, and you have to square the C, so that would be C squared. So you square both the 3 and the C. Now, 144 plus 81 is going to give us 225. We're solving for C, so I'm going to get rid of this 9, and C squared would be 25. Now, when we get C squared, what do? Square root. And if I take the square root, what is C? 5. Now when we go back to look at what are they looking for, they are looking for WY. Well, WY is, well, I should say this. XY is 3C. So what do you think WY would be? What do we know about the whole diagonals in a rectangle? They're congruent. So if this one is 3C, WY is also 3C. And it's because XZ equals YWY, okay? So then I'm gonna take that 5 and I'm gonna put it up here. 3 times 5 is 15. And I'm just gonna write here, diagonals are congruent in a rectangle. Okay, so your assignment for today is this. So it doesn't look like much at all, so it looks like you have kind of an easy day. If you get done early, it'd be a good time to work on any late work, because I'll be sending grade sheets home to your parents. Did everybody get finished copying?